In a small, sleepy town nestled between dense forests and rolling hills, there was a pizza delivery place that was popular among the locals. The employees were all young, often students working part-time. The place had a reputation for delivering pizzas even to the most remote locations around the town, which sometimes included old farmhouses and secluded cabins deep in the woods. One cold, foggy night, a call came in just before closing time. The customer sounded anxious, repeatedly asking how soon the pizza could be delivered. They gave an address that was way out in the woods, a good 30-minute drive from the pizzeria. The manager hesitated, but the customer promised a generous tip. Reluctantly, the manager agreed and assigned the delivery to a new employee, Jake, who was eager to earn some extra money. Jake set off in his old car, the pizza boxes snugly placed in the passenger seat. The road was eerily quiet, and the fog thickened as he drove deeper into the woods. His GPS struggled to find a signal, and he had to rely on an old map and the vague directions provided by the customer. After a series of twists and turns on the narrow forest roads, he finally arrived at the address. It was an old, dilapidated cabin, its windows dark, surrounded by overgrown trees. A sense of unease crept over Jake as he approached the front door, pizza in hand. There was no response to his knocks, only the sound of the wind rustling through the trees. Suddenly, he heard a faint whispering sound from behind. Turning around swiftly, he saw nothing but the dense fog and dark woods. His heart pounding, he decided to leave the pizza at the door and return to his car. As he hurried back, he felt as though he was being watched, and the whispering seemed to follow him. Back in his car, he tried to start the engine, but it sputtered and died. Panic set in as he realized he was stranded. He tried calling the pizzeria and the customer, but there was no cell service. The whispering grew louder, now accompanied by soft footsteps approaching the car. Frozen in fear, Jake could barely breathe as he saw a shadowy figure emerge from the fog, moving slowly towards him. The figure stopped just outside the car window. It was a woman, her face pale and eyes hollow. She stared at Jake, her lips moving silently as if trying to speak. Then, with a sudden gust of wind, she vanished into the fog. The car engine roared to life on its own, startling Jake. Without a second thought, he drove away as fast as he could, not stopping until he reached the safety of the pizzeria. Shaken, he told his manager and coworkers what had happened. They listened in disbelief until the oldest employee, a lifelong resident of the town, spoke up. He explained that many years ago, a young woman had gone missing in those woods, and her body was never found. Since then, there had been rumors of her spirit haunting the area, especially on foggy nights. Jake never went for a delivery to the remote parts of the town again. The pizza place stopped delivering to the area altogether, but the story of that night lived on, a chilling reminder of the mysteries hidden in the fog-shrouded woods. As the evening fog rolled in, I found myself navigating narrow, winding roads, my car's headlights barely piercing the dense mist. I was on my last delivery for the night, a late order from a remote house on the outskirts of town. The GPS signal flickered, a common nuisance in this secluded area, but I managed to find the address, an old Victorian-style mansion, its paint peeling and windows dark. I hesitated for a moment, the eerie silence of the night pressing in around me. Shaking off my unease, I grabbed the pizza and made my way to the front door. As I rang the bell, an unsettling feeling crept up my spine. There was no sound from inside, no movement, nothing to indicate anyone was waiting for their order. Minutes ticked by, and just as I decided to leave, the door creaked open, revealing a shadowy figure. An old man, with a gaunt face and piercing eyes, stood before me. His voice was a raspy whisper as he invited me in to set the pizza down. Reluctantly, I stepped inside, the door closing with a thud behind me. The interior was as dilapidated as the exterior, with antique furniture covered in dust and cobwebs. The air was musty, and a sense of decay hung heavily. I placed the pizza on a grand, but neglected, dining table. The old man, however, didn't seem interested in the food. Instead, he began to talk, his voice low and hypnotic. He told me stories of the house, of its long history and the strange occurrences that had happened within its walls. Tales of shadows moving on their own, whispers in the night, and objects mysteriously disappearing. As he spoke, the room seemed to grow colder and the shadows darker. I was about to excuse myself when a sudden noise upstairs made me jump. The old man's eyes twinkled with a mix of amusement and something unfathomable as he suggested I explore the upper floors. Despite my better judgment, curiosity got the better of me. As I ascended the creaky staircase, the atmosphere grew more oppressive, and the feeling of being watched intensified. The upper hallway was lined with old portraits, their eyes seeming to follow me. Doors were ajar leading to empty, dust-filled rooms. In one, a child's rocking horse moved slightly, as if just disturbed. In another, a mirror reflected a fleeting shadow that wasn't mine. A sudden chill ran down my spine as I heard a faint giggle from the end of the hall. I froze, my heart pounding. The sound was coming from a room with the door slightly open. Gathering my courage, I pushed the door, revealing a room that looked like it hadn't been touched in decades. Toys were scattered across the floor, and in the corner, a small figure sat hunched over. I approached cautiously, my breath catching as the figure turned. It was a doll, its eyes unnaturally lifelike, staring directly at me. A cold wind swept through the room, and the doll's mouth opened, emitting a chilling, disembodied laugh. I stumbled back, my mind racing. I had to get out of there. I ran down the hallway, the sound of the doll's laughter echoing behind me. As I reached the staircase, I saw the old man standing at the bottom, a twisted smile on his face. Panic set in, and I rushed past him, bursting through the front door into the night. My heart pounded in my ears as I fumbled with my car keys. Glancing back, I saw the old man standing in the doorway, watching me with an unreadable expression. I drove away as fast as I could, not stopping until I reached the safety of the well-lit streets in town. My mind was a whirlwind of fear and confusion. What had just happened? Was it real? Or had my imagination? I never took a delivery to that area again, and whenever I pass by the road leading to the mansion, a shiver runs down my spine. The experience remains a haunting mystery, a true horror story that I still struggle to comprehend.